A new attorney general is in place at the White House due to rising tensions from President Trump.
A new banking option is in the works for children under 18 with an incentive from the IRS. Later we'll discuss just how much.
Mortgage rates have been rising consecutively for 5 weeks now. Get the details on the exact statistics.
The fuel shortages are expanding to Europe according to experts. Just how soon could this happen? We have all the details and more as KSTV starts right now.
This is Kent Stater TV.
Good Thursday evening, Portage County, and welcome back to KSTV News at 6. I'm Claire Duber.
And I'm Abby Kress. Tonight we start with rhyming words as we enter Poetry Month.
Our reporter Tatum Werns talked to Wick Poetry Center as they celebrate. Hi, Tatum.
Hi guys, roses are red, violets are blue. I didn't realize poetry was so compelling, but after visiting Wick Poetry Center, now I do. April is National Poetry Month in the U.S., and Kent State has a way to recognize it with its very own Wick Poetry Center.
The family, Bob and Walter Wick, endowed the center in memorial. They both lost sons who were cousins 7 years apart in car accidents on the exact same day.
Since 1984, the Wick Poetry Center has been a space where people can tap into their inner creativity with writing workshops, guest programs, and an extensive selection of books.
This is totally a space where people can come and just create. So it doesn't matter what major, it doesn't matter what type of writing you're doing, it's just coming and building a community in one spot where people can use poetry as a template.
The outreach of the center extends beyond its location on South Lincoln Street with its traveling stand as a bus for mobile workshops, the Wick Poetry Corner book selection in the library, and an outdoor area. This little outdoor area at the Wick Poetry Center. Here on this pathway here behind me, they've got some little signs with poems from people in Northeast Ohio, and then this sculpture here. So it's just a nice little place to relax. Wick Poetry Center continues its reading series this spring with various poetry events and authors, and will host the Giving Voice event April 28th, which features the work of grade school students created through Wick outreach programs.
We're all interacting and sharing and responding to the art form in different ways, and it's so rich.
To find out more about the Wick Poetry Center, you can stop in from 9 to 5 on weekdays or visit their website at wickpoetry.com. For KSTV News, I'm Tatum Werns.
Thank you, Tatum. Well, turning to statewide news, Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost is calling for executions to be resumed, saying how the pause has withheld justice for victims and their family members. Yost made these comments amid the release of the Capital Crimes Report, which documents the status and history of death penalty cases in Ohio. The report says 342 people have received a death sentence since restored in 1981.
A verdict was reached in the corporation trial of former First Energy Corp CEO Chuck Jones and ex-senior vice president Michael Dowling. But the jury was unable to agree on any of the charges. They both faced charges of corporation, bribery, conspiracy, and aggravated theft for paying $4.3 million to a future top utility regulator in Ohio, who helped draft House Bill 6 and having an alleged role in a $60 million bribery scheme that resulted in a ballot of affiliated nuclear plants. The state will either retry the case against former executives or let it go.
A new chapter of space exploration has begun as Artemis II is the first crewed mission of this program from NASA. The rocket launched successfully Wednesday evening with 4 astronauts aboard for a journey around the moon, expected to last 10 days. The crew will test the Orion spacecraft as well as being the first humans to ever see some dark areas of the dark side of the moon.
Good evening, Portage County, and welcome to this Thursday's forecast. I'm still number 9. I don't know about anyone else, but I absolutely love this warm spring weather, which we can see from the entire state of Ohio right now. So we're going to start off in Toledo, a little bit colder than the rest of these areas at 57 degrees. But you go throughout the rest of Ohio, you've got Cincinnati at 82, Columbus at 81, Athens also at 82, and Akron, Canada at 75. And even our friends in Pittsburgh are enjoying a nice day at 80 degrees. And then our next weather forecast is going to be the statewide forecast, which Sandusky, a little bit warmer closer to the lake. We also got Cleveland at 77, Mansfield at 75, Worcester and Akron, Canada 75. Here in Kent, 76 degrees right now, and Ashtabula 75, and then also 77 in Youngstown. And then tonight, nice warm weather for tonight, 7 o'clock, around 70 degrees, and then staying warm throughout the night. A little bit of a chance of rain, but I'll talk about that more later. That is all the time I have for you right now, Portage County. Later, I'll be back with what tomorrow is going to look like, but for now, back to Abby at the desk.
2 Memphis rappers, Poe Shiesty and Big 30, and 7 others have been arrested by the DOJ in the robbing and kidnapping of rapper Gucci Mane. Poe Shiesty's father was also arrested following a raid Wednesday at the family's home in Cordova. According to the DOJ, Shiesty and 8 others held them at gunpoint and forced one victim to sign a release form from the music label while being threatened with a gun. The other suspects stole cash and high-value items like a Rolex. One victim was choked to the point of near unconsciousness. Big 30 is accused of barricading the door to prevent victims from leaving.
Attorney General Pam Bondi has been fired from the Department of Justice, and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche will be taking her place as of now. Her firing came due to apparent frustration from Trump for several reasons, such as her handling of records involving Jeffrey Epstein and a lack of prosecutions in certain cases.
The National Capital Planning Commission approved plans for the $40 million remodel. The remodel is led by the White House Staff Secretary and former Trump personnel lawyer Will Scharf. On Tuesday, a federal court ordered all construction and demolition to stop because Congress did not approve the plan. The Trump administration has filed an appeal against the judge's orders.
President Trump says he will sign an order that will ensure all Department of Homeland Security workers will be paid. The Senate collectively approved the bill to partially reopen the department, which is a step forward following the partial government shutdown. However, both chambers are out on their 2-week Easter and Passover recess, meaning it is unclear when the House will vote.
President Donald Trump appears poised to impose new tariffs on certain drug companies, coming from a draft of his order and a source familiar with the matter, according to CNN. The tariffs are amid at companies that don't have the most favored nation pricing deals with the U.S., suggesting the draft that the tariff could be 100% and applied to patented drugs and active ingredients. It's unclear what medications might get exemptions.
The IRS said over 4 million kids are signed up for new savings accounts Congress approved last year. Families can enroll eligible children under 18 in the Trump account program, where a quarter of them will be eligible for a $1,000 government contribution.
The International Rescue Committee warned that continued closure of the Strait of Hormuz has created a food security time bomb that could cause a sharp rise in world hunger by June. The waterway is disrupted by the U.S.-Iran war. The strait carries about 20% of the world's oil consumption. It impacts the global energy supply and shipping lanes that carry medicine and food to crisis zones. According to the IRC, the current situation could suppress the global food shock in 2022 caused by the Russians' war in Ukraine.
Russian drones have attacked port and residential infrastructure in the Odessa region overnight. The attack set shipping containers on fire, burning warehouses and leaving no casualties. Ukrainian officials have stated Russian forces have utilized large waves of drones to weaken air defenses, with some involving almost 60 drones at once.
The CDC is pausing national testing for a few diseases. We have the details on which tests are being affected.
After the presidential speech made last night.
Registration for Lavender Celebration is open now. Lavender Celebration is a historic pre-commencement ceremony held to honor queer graduating students. Now hosted by Pride Kent, this event will be held on April 30th from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Kent State Student Center Ballroom with a community reception at 5. Join us for a free dinner and award ceremony with keynote speakers and watch the graduates walk the stage and receive our iconic rainbow stoles. Bring your friends, family, and absolutely anyone, regardless of how you identify. Scan the QR code or go to the link below and register today. Registration closes April 20th.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Did you know that children growing up with poor air quality have smaller lungs and higher rates of asthma than children that grow up with good air quality? And unfortunately, poor communities have poor air quality. IQ Air Foundation is working to change this. Today, the IQ Air Foundation provides filtration technology to schools with poor air quality through our Clean Air for Kids program. Our goal is to help over 50,000 school children every year breathe over 90% cleaner air indoors, helping to level the playing field, reduce barriers to learning, reduce sick days, and increase test scores. Mitigating poor air quality is key to environmental justice. Help Clean Air for Kids reach more children at iqairfoundation.org.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is Kent Stater TV.
Your community.
Your stories.
So, Abby, I hear that yesterday at the Student Center there was an event for MedLife students to learn about medical skills.
That's right. Our very own Sam Stover was there. Sam, what can you tell us?
Thank you, Claire and Abby. That's right, guys. Kent State's MedLife chapter hosted a medical skills clinic yesterday to teach students life-saving medical skills. Medical Skills Clinic taught students life-saving techniques. Participants practiced the skills on a mannequin. MedLife encouraged students to participate because you never know when you'll need to help save someone's life.
Today we were just trying to educate our students. We have multiple people with different majors like nursing, public health, pre-med, and just try to educate them some of the skills that can be done in the field.
MedLife's main goal is to empower the underserved in their fight for equal access to healthcare, education, and a safe home. To help these communities, they listen to others' stories, collaborate with them, prioritize sustainability, and follow up after they help.
My favorite thing is definitely our volunteering opportunities and what we do as a club, because I really like hands-on kind of stuff, especially when it comes to extracurriculars.
MedLife is a nonprofit organization that partners with low-income communities in Africa and Latin America to help them free from the constraints of poverty. They provide college students the opportunity to become advocates for these communities through service and volunteering.
We get to go to all different countries and see both the beauty of the country and also the sad parts of the country, see the poorest parts, be able to give good health care and recommend them to good doctors in those areas.
Kent State's chapter hosts various events such as Stop the Bleed, where they teach students how to prevent someone from life-threatening bleeding, donating to the CARES Center Food Pantry, and visiting Lima, Peru to help the underserved community. Kent's MedLife chapter has an upcoming event on April 29th. They will be hosting puppy yoga. For KSTV, I'm Sam Stover.
Good evening, KSTV. Today I have updates on the approval of a new GLP-1 and more. The Food and Drug Administration has approved Foundeo. Foundeo, produced by Eli Lilly, the makers of Zepbound and Mounjaro, is a GLP-1 designed to aid weight loss. Foundeo is a daily pill that can be taken without restrictions on food or water. The drug's pricing starts at $149 for the lowest dosage, with some insured patients able to knock it down to $25. Eli Lilly is expected to start delivering the drug for personal use by next week. Testing is being paused by the CDC for rabies, the family of viruses that accompany smallpox and mpox, and other diseases. The CDC offers federal testing services to state and local labs lacking the resources to do it themselves. Reports from the New York Times state that widespread layoffs and resignations of qualified scientists could be a contributing factor to this pause. A spokesperson for the CDC stated that some of the paused tests will become available again within the next few weeks. Cicada, a new strain of COVID, appears to be mostly infecting children. Currently, scientists are not too concerned about this new variant because it does not seem to pose more of a threat than any of the other ones. In contrast with past variants, Cicada is more infectious in children, while the past trend displayed higher levels of infection in older adults. Cicada is a member of the Omicron family, seen in the wastewater of 25 states. Cicada is currently spreading slowly, yet experts are still closely monitoring it. Thanks for watching KSTV. I'm Alex Brown.
You informed and ahead of the storm. This is your KSTV weather.
Welcome back, Portage County. Tomorrow we will see high temperatures again, but this time with some storms in the afternoon. But before we get into that, we're going to get into today's weather. 76 degrees and absolutely one of the most beautiful days of the entire year. And tonight, the cherry on top, the moon is full. And then moving on to tomorrow afternoon, you've got 76 degrees, but expect some afternoon showers that will transition into evening storms with a high humidity, about a 50 to 70% chance of rain throughout the day, with winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour south-southwest. And finally, here's our extended forecast. 76 degrees tomorrow and 80 degrees, but again with some rain. But then we go back to the cold. Sunday through Tuesday, temperatures no higher than 45 degrees with a low of 38 on Tuesday. But we will warm back up for you at the tail end of next week with 60 degrees on Wednesday and then 71 on Thursday. And that is all I have for you, Portage County. But before I go, I'd like to leave you with a weather joke. What did the tree say when spring finally arrived? What a relief. For KSTV, I'm Stone O'Brien. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Stone. Mortgage rates rose again this week to reach a national average of 6.46%, marking the fifth week of increases. The prices are being fueled by turmoil in the bond market linked to the war in Iran. Before the strikes there began, the rate was just below 6%. The spring home buying season is normally the busiest time of the year. The elevated interest rate is affecting that now.
Gas prices continue to rise following President Donald Trump addressing the war with Iran, saying the U.S. will continue to fight with the country for at least another few weeks. The oil benchmark saw a spike above $105 minutes after the speech. Additionally, Trump renewed his vow to bomb Iranian power plants if the country does not adhere to the White House's requests.
The jet fuel and diesel shortages are coming to Europe next, according to the head of the International Energy Agency. Expected to start this month or the beginning of May, according to Faith Barrel, the CEO of an oil company, and Germany's economy minister echoes the same concerns. The global prices for jet fuel supplies are now more than double they were in February.
The Guardians took down the back-to-back champion LA Dodgers last night. We'll take a look at how Cleveland got the win, more baseball action, and some hockey.
Brush, brushy, brush, brushy, brush, brush your teeth. Every day and every night. Now it's your parents' turn. Here's what you gotta do. Let them have your toothbrush so that they can brushy brush your teeth.
first, they said cigarettes were safe. We know how that turned out. Now, they say they didn't market e-cigarettes to teens? Fact, more than 1 in 4 high school students are vaping, and 80% say their first e-cigarette was flavored. Vaping is harmful to developing brains. The reason we think vaping is safe? Marketing. Same lies, different day. Tell Big Vape to quit lying.
The NFL is partnering with Topps, which manufactures entertainment and sports trading cards. Their last partnership was in 2016, and the hope is to help them benefit from the trading card boom, which Topps saw a spike during COVID in 2020. Since then, popularity has been on the rise.
Well, Claire, the only trading cards I collect are the Pokemon cards. What about you?
So I actually don't collect any, but I have to ask Maddox, since you're a sports correspondent, do you have any sports trading cards?
Yeah, no, I would collect cards as a kid, but a hometown friend of mine, Quentin, has a crazy football card collection where we stayed up until almost 4 in the morning sorting them by team into top 9 players of all time by the card he had. I, though, primarily had baseball cards. And speaking of baseball, the Kent State baseball team are currently taking on the Ohio Bobcats in the first game of a 3-game series. After Tuesday's home win against Baldwin Wallace, the Flashes are on the road in Athens to take on the 6-22 Bobcats. Kent State will play Ohio tomorrow and on Saturday, with tomorrow's first pitch scheduled for 6 and Saturday's for 1, as the Golden Flashes look to stay in the hunt for first place in the MAC. Staying on the diamond, the Kent State softball team returns home tomorrow for a 3-game set against Bowling Green. The Flashes will look to get back on track after being swept by Miami of Ohio last weekend. The team is also looking to continue their undefeated home streak at home, as they have jumped out to a 5-0 record at Divine Diamond. The first game of tomorrow's doubleheader will start at 10 a.m. with the second game scheduled for a 12 o'clock first pitch. Now taking things to the pros, the Cleveland Guardians traveled out to Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Will Smith, the catcher, going to overthrow his third baseman, Max Muncy, and this will allow Daniel Schneemann to score in the top of the third, making it 1-0 Guardians. We head now in that same inning. Gabriel Arias going to mash this one deep out to center field, and that ball is gone, just barely over the fence, giving Cleveland a 2-0 lead here, as we're now going to look at Gavin Williams striking out Shohei Ohtani and striking out Kyle Tucker. He went 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts for the big rig. Jose Ramirez now in the top of the 8th here with a runner on first. Some insurance run here. He's going to get his first homer of the season. Ramirez getting the Guardians up 4-0. Freddie Freeman, though, for the Los Angeles Dodgers, not going to let them get shut out, as he'd get a home run here in center field, his first of the season. Will Smith would fly out, though, as the Cleveland Guardians would win this one, winning the 3-game series against the Dodgers 3-2. Now, wrapping up on the ice, the Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Carolina Hurricanes tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN+. This is a key game for the Jackets, as they currently sit in the final wildcard spot with 88 points, but the margin for error is slim, as teams like the Ottawa Senators, Detroit Red Wings, and Philadelphia Flyers all sit just 2 points behind. After tonight's game, there will be 6 games remaining in the regular season, so each point matters as they look to get back to the playoffs for the first time since the 2019-2020 season. And that is all I have for you today. To stay up to date all things Kent State or more, head over to KentStater.com and make sure to follow Kent Stater Sports on Instagram for KSTV. I'm Maddox Miller.
Around the corner, and it's a burrito. I'll be back with the locations offering deals.
Hey there, I'm Lance Bass, and this is Chip. For more than 100 years, American Humane has been on the front lines protecting animals in times of crisis. From Pearl Harbor to 9/11, the California wildfires, and the coronavirus pandemic, American Humane Rescue has provided life-saving assistance for animals in virtually every major national disaster. If you're anything like me, your pets mean the world to you. And if disaster strikes, you want to keep them safe. To prepare for an oncoming disaster, ensure your pet has secure and up-to-date identification. And if you must evacuate, remember to take your disaster preparedness kit with you. To learn more about disaster planning and how to keep your best friends safe, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
It's National Burrito Day. Many fast food chains are celebrating by offering deals and freebies. Reward members can get BOGO burritos at Moe's and Qdoba. Participating 7-Eleven, Speedway, and Stripes locations will offer $5 chicken burritos. And Del Taco rewards its members by offering a free burrito with a $3 purchase. I love burritos. What about you, Claire?
I do.
My favorite place is AAA. Where do you like to go and get some?
I usually just make them at home.
Oh, really?
There's nothing better than homemade.
Absolutely,
My
as you
sister does
should.
a really good job at making those.
Ooh,
So
maybe
yeah.
I'll have to come over and get some.
Yeah, have to shout her out.
And that's all the time we have for you today.
You can follow more stories from us online and on social media at Kent Stater. I'm Claire Duber.
And I'm Abby Kress. Have a good night, Portage County.
Hello? Mom, you gotta stop this. I'm in a library, okay? What could happen?
Yeah, stuff happens. 1 in 4 college students end up in the ER. That's why you need Emergency. Everything you need to handle an emergency. Share important info with your family and friends. Feeling unsafe? Help is one tap away with Urgent Alert. Upload your insurance card and your medical consent form so your family can speak to medical staff. Download Emergency now while it's still free, before stuff happens.
The FDA conducts a thorough analysis to ensure that prescription drugs are only approved after 3 phases of clinical trials have shown they are high quality, safe, and work as they should.